The Pro Football Hall of Fame's Ralph Hay Pioneer Award is presented periodically to individuals who have made significant and innovative contributions to our game. And we are honored to award the Ralph Hay Pioneer Award tonight to a trailblazing announcer who introduced millions of fans to American football with Spanish language television broadcasts, Fernando Von Rossum.
The voice of Fernando Von Rossum filled for years and years the television screens of NFL broadcasts in Mexico. He brought the NFL close to the Mexico audience, not only delivering with excitement and emotion, but also educating the audience that was in that time still being introduced to the sport.
Bueno, pues aquí este libro se me hizo muy interesante para el día de hoy, donde habla de dónde se inició el juego de fútbol americano aquí en México. ¿Y de cuándo?
Football, with its universal language, found a very special translator in Fernando, making it understandable even for those not familiar with its details.
Fernando Von Rossum is not just a pioneer. He wasn't just there at the inception, at the beginning of football in Mexico. He endured. And you don't work for 50 years if you're not good, if you don't adapt, if you stay ahead of a very sophisticated audience. He was able to do that. That, to me, is probably the most outstanding achievement in that long career.
His legacy in the development of the NFL in Mexico and Latin America is undeniable. Through years and years, his voice was the catalyzer for the second biggest fan base of the NFL in the world, building this bridge not only amongst generations of fans and viewers, but also inspiring and setting the field for the new generation of broadcasters. His legacy, a broadcaster of generations. Without the voice, passion, and knowledge of Fernando Von Rossum, the Mexican fan base and its importance would not be what it is today. It is clear to me that his impact in the relationship between the NFL and Mexico has and will forever transcend the broadcasting group.
Damas y caballeros, Fernando Von Rossum.
Commissioner Goodell, President Porter, ladies and gentlemen, good evening, buenas noches a todos. When Arthur Hay convened the pro team representatives in his auto showroom a century ago, he couldn't, in his most optimistic dreams, envision the giant, successful sports league the NFL would become. Even less would a 21-year-old engineering student sitting alone in a television studio in a northern Mexican city conceive of one day standing here to receive the prestigious award that carries his name. The probability of those two life stories converging tonight here was close to non-existent, but in the universe's mysterious ways, it happened. So, feeling greatly honored and deeply appreciative to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, I accept this distinguished award, not only in my name, but of all my colleagues who labor every day to bring the interesting life of the NFL to the fans in the Spanish language. Monterrey, where I began my broadcasting career, has an interesting story regarding American football. It was where on December 25th, 1896, 128 years ago, the Missouri Tigers played the Texas Longhorns in the first game of American universities outside of the United States. I refrain from giving you the score because I have a dear friend that played for the Longhorns here. I don't want to spoil his evening, Raul. Well, this is the story. After playing in Austin, a promoter convinced the teams to go down to hold a series of exhibition games in Mexico. So the teams got on a train, went down to Monterrey, played a game, then went to Mexico City, played another 2 games. The problem was they did not inform their schools or got permission from the universities to go across the border, gallivanting down to Mexico, playing exhibition games. They just disappeared for a month. Once they got back, there were consequences. Coaches were fired and all that. But that's another story. What I wanted to do was link the two cities, Monterrey and Mexico City, because that was a key to opening the NFL to Mexico. In '63 and '64, the only pro football games broadcast there were the AFL, limited to one station in one city, Monterrey, and with one announcer, yours truly. I had to do the play-by-play, the analysis, keep the stats of the game, and try to make it interesting to new fans. Hectic, but great training for the years to come. The big break came in 1969 when the games of the Dallas Cowboys were shown not only in Monterrey, but also in Mexico City. Because after watching those great Dallas teams, the national networks got interested in starting broadcasting nationally. Those first years were challenging as we had to teach the game and the rules to new fans while not boring the established viewers. But we were finally able to show an increasing audience the magic that is the NFL, an athletic ability that reaches levels of perfection with mental challenges that a chess master would appreciate. I used to say that games were physical chess matches, and that's what we have today, an international league with fans all around the world. We announcers just ride the wave that the NFL has created. Broadcasting like football requires a team effort. You do not get to the finish line alone. I got here on the shoulders of my father, who showed me English, and my father who taught us football, and my mother who taught us English at an early age. On the shoulders of my family, who endured the constant absences required by the job. On the shoulders of my colleagues, many of whom I shared the booth with. And of course, on the shoulders of millions of great Mexican fans who accompanied me over the decades. I am grateful to them all. Before finishing, I beg your indulgence that I can briefly address them in Spanish. Agradezco sinceramente al Salón de la Fama del Fútbol Americano Profesional la honrosa distinción de este premio. La recibo también en nombre de mis queridos colegas, hombres y mujeres, que se esfuerzan diariamente para llevar la historia de la NFL a los aficionados en nuestro idioma español. Igualmente lo recibo para los leales y conocedores aficionados de México que me hicieron el favor de acompañarme durante tantos años. Y un agradecimiento muy especial para Raúl, Ricardo, Álvaro, Lalo y el grupo que hicieron posible el evento y el suceso de esta noche. So, in closing, thank you again, Pro Football Hall of Fame, for this great honor, and my best wishes to the NFL in its second century of existence. Thank you all very much. Muchas gracias.